sensacional.
Come over here and let me know your name, boy. Your sexy smile got me checking for your seal. You caught my eyes and I'm seeing if you're single. Do you wanna get to know me?
Pero tampoco llegamos al piso. Y sin fantasear, vamos a la estratosfera, a lo espacial. Ponte el cinturón pa' que no te vayas a marear, porque este viaje te va a enamorar.
Damn, Papi, nah, it's been on you all night.
Yo, baby boo, you know that I got you.
You know you are so sexy.
Oh, by the way, what's your number?
508, I'll give it away.
Oh, for sure.
Keep it on the low, alright?
Gianna!
Done dirty. It has me speechless. I can't wait, won't hesitate to sharing your caress. I get the butterflies when you're around me. I'm so curious and wanna take you home with me.
Llegando al mundo de la fantasía, para que te des de cuenta que entre tú y yo, mujer, el mundo vamos a recorrer en primera clase, para que nuestras pasiones se puedan desenvolver. Y no es nada raro en cómo todo empezó. Tú me gustaste y yo te gusté. Ahora es que es cámara, luces, acción. Y ten cuidado que el volcán está haciendo erupción.
And we're here. We're here. Done a lot, being everywhere. Yeah, done a lot, being everywhere. How's everyone doing? Big shout out to the 12 people watching right now. Thank you for the 18 likes. Very appreciated. I know it's been a while. It's the host of the most, the team to the tango, the yin to the jangle, Jrod on point. We are live in YouTube. Big shout out to everyone watching. Today we got the red theme. You know, the red theme is one of my spicy hot favorites when we got to get down and dirty, not just in the topics that we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about the Kiely Rodni case. We're going to be talking about the Idaho 4 case and the Bryan Kohberger. We also going to be talking about many other situations going on within the brotherhood and sisterhood in the true crime family, which is a very controversial family, but we all here. It is the true crime community. It is what it is. It's a little bit dysfunctional, but I think we could all relate with it, talk about it, be about it, move on. Big shout out to Amy Conway. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Amy Conway said, how are you this evening? I'm doing great. I'm doing amazing. Right now it's 1:47 a.m. here in Ohio. You know what I'm saying? Here in Ohio. Big shout out to everyone in Ohio and in the United States of America and around the world that have the opportunity to watch this show. I hope y'all know that this show is someone's favorite show. So please make sure you click like, subscribe, and allow this show to become bigger and better every day. Thank you for being here. Big shout out to Robin Digler. Thank you for being here. Very appreciate it. We got Amy Conway and we got Robbie in the building. Thank you for being here. Very appreciate it. That's my guy Robbie. You know what I'm saying? It's 11:47 here in Costa Rica. Big shout out Costa Rica. Big shout out to North, Center, and South America and all over the world. Very appreciate it. Yeah, Robbie, man, it's gonna be a good one today. We're gonna be talking about many topics. It's gonna be a good one though. We're gonna try to make the month of April a little bit more consistent. Big shout out to Laurie. Big shout out to Amy Conway. Big shout out to Robbie. Thank you for being here. Big shout out to Laurie. Markel, thank you for being here. Very appreciate it. Thank you so much. My guy Robbie finally caught up with the live. That's amazing though. That's amazing. Very appreciated though. Thank you for being here. It's gonna be a good one. I know it's been a while, but you know what I'm saying? Not looking for perfection, but perfection takes time. Dealing with a lot, handling a lot, you know, that's what happened when you're the boss, when you're the CEO, when you're head honcho, you know, HNIC, whatever you want to call me, just don't call me broke. Just don't do that. By the way, talking about that, big shout out to everyone. They've been helping us, helping the On Point family grow as we've been growing every day. Thank you for all the cash app. By the way, if you feel there is some value in the content that we provide here in this humble channel, you make sure just hit the cash app with whatever you have available, whatever you have to spend. Thank you so much. It's gonna be for a great purpose. It's gonna help this channel. It's gonna help this family. It's gonna help everyone to grow. Very appreciated. Thank you for being here. Hit the like button. Very appreciated. We got Laurie in the building. Thank you for being here. Very appreciated. Robbie said to everyone, please hit that like, y'all. Hit that like. Make sure you click like, subscribe. 15 people watching. We just been warming up. You know how we do. We play our music. This is the D. We're entertainment. Exclusive music from moi. You hosted the most Jrod Point, aka the Don Daddy. That Don Bizzle. You know how it goes. North, West, South, Caribbean. You own Jrod Point. Very appreciated. Thank you, everyone. It's gonna be a good one. We're gonna start with the work. We're gonna leave all that fun for in a little bit, but it's a lot of things that we need to catch up. We're gonna start with the Idaho 4 case. We're gonna start with that. I think that it's gonna be a good topic to start because you know, we're being on another panels. Big shout out to King AK-47, the voice of the streets. Very appreciated. Thank you for allowing me to be on your panel to talk about the situation, the legal issues going on with Mr. P. Diddy. We're gonna probably talk about that in a little bit later. We also gonna be talking about the comeback of Ryan Upchurch to the true crime community. Big shout out to Ryan Upchurch. We're gonna be talking about that in a little bit. We also gonna talk about a few content creators going wild. We're just taking names. Unfortunately for them, in the true crime drama, it's only one king, and that's me. So we're only speaking the truth, and due to we speaking the truth, they try to censor us and, you know, cancel us and all this other bullshit. But the truth is uncancelable. You can't cancel the truth. It's something that, unfortunately for them, they're exposing themselves. We don't have to do much. We just sit here, watch them playing themselves, and enjoy the show. Talk about it for content purposes and whatnot. But it is what it is. It's the true crime family. It go hit high, it go hit low. but we're gonna try to stay right in the middle. As I told you, you know, your host has been working in a lot strategies of content. You know, the strategies far as the tactical view of and the way we're hitting the content. It's been Chef Kids, Mademoiselle V. It's been good. Thank you for everyone watching the content right now. We've been uploading the latest content from the Kiely Rodni case. Go and check the videos. It's gonna be a series right now. I think we got 4 to 5 videos uploaded out of that series. That's the Paramount series that we did for the Kiely Rodni case. Big shout out to Paramount. And we're working with a lot. Hopefully we get to work soon, pretty soon, with other content creators that we've been reaching out. They've been reaching out to us also. So hopefully we get the opportunity to do that. But without further ado, let's get to the meats and potatoes. We're gonna be watching the court hearing of the Bryan Kohberger case, but we're gonna watch first the first hearing before this past. The last one, it was a emergency hearing. I got to catch the whole thing. I haven't uploaded yet due to scheduling. We have an upload schedule. Right now we're working on the Kiely Rodni case uploads and the videos. So we're gonna work on the Idaho 4 Bryan Kohberger case right now as we speak. Make sure you click like and subscribe. We're gonna get to that video first, because we gotta focus. You know, we went over it the very beginning. When we go live, it's a lot that we need to catch up with. You know, a lot to talk about, interact with the chat, and sometimes we don't really get to the meats and potatoes of what we really want to talk about. So today we're gonna take the opportunity that it's been a while, and we need to catch up with the rice and beans and the meats and potatoes of the Idaho 4 Bryan Kohberger case as a suspect. Innocent to proven guilty, giving the benefit of the doubt. You know, a lot of people being very, very with a strong opinion far as our take within this case. But I want to refresh everyone's mind that our opinions and our theories about this case is due to what they have provided to us. We only take conclusions out of the public information available to us. If the public information available to us is a lie, 9 times out of 10, our take might be wrong. But if within the information that I provided, even though it's a 50-50 there, 50-50 truth and 50-50 lies, believe me, I know how to sort out the lies from the truth and read between the lines. I know how to do that. And if in the case that they share with the community, it's a straight cut, whatever they have provided to us is 100% the truth. If it's foul play there, I'll call that. If it's not foul play, I'm not gonna call it. I'm gonna go with what it is, the common sense of every other case. By principle and unbiased. And I wanna make sure that everyone understands that our take within the Idaho 4 Bryan Kohberger case is very unbiased and is leaned into the information at this day to day, provided not just from the media, YouTube, internet, and confirmed sources that we could actually, like for example, in this case, Kara has talked to us. She reached out to us, and we reach out back again. And if I'm one of those true crime content creators that if a family member from the victims reach out to me and requesting my help, I will help them. I want everyone to make sure y'all understand that I'm here to help, to bring the best analysis possible within these cases, and I'm really trying to help to put the puzzles together. And if by any chance, we get the opportunity to help law enforcement or help the court or help the defense, even the prosecution at some point, if we get the opportunity to do that, we'd be more than glad to do so. We're just waiting for the powers to be to reach out for us to do our work. But for the meanwhile, we're gonna be here on our channel having the best analysis possible and try to get back to the meats and potatoes of what the truth is. And the truth is only one. And if the public information available from the media, and far as is public information available, it don't matter from where it come from, but the public information available, you gotta sort it out. You gotta know what you gotta pick and choose what makes sense. You can't just go with whatever sounds clickable. If you go with what it sounds clickable, 9 times out of 10, you missing the potency of the truth, because something that is clickable not necessarily means that there is substance, there is something there to listen to. I agree to disagree on everything. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for spending your time here with us. It's been 12 people watching. Thank you for spending your time with us. Very appreciated. So we're gonna be listening to the first hearing that we got to catch up. Actually, you can find this live stream on our channel. We are about to upload the second live stream from the emergency court hearing. It got very spicy. It's a lot of things that we have spoke about here in this channel that little by little everything becoming full circle. Because you could tell that it's a hesitation to get to the point. He said it seems like prosecution don't have no will to move forward with this. It seems like, and this is just my personal opinion, it seems like prosecution don't even want to prosecute. This is a year after. There's a lot of people been talking about prosecution ready. If prosecution is ready, how come that they doing everything and anything to delay to get to the bottom of this? Let's listen to this first expose on the court hearing. Sit down, relax, watch the show, get your popcorns. We're gonna be here for a while. Enjoy the show. It's Jrod on point.
Okay. All right. Sorry for the delay. We are now on the record. This is State versus Bryan Kohberger, CR 29222805. Mr. Kohberger is here in the courtroom. He is represented by Ms. Taylor and Ms. Nassif. Mr. Hogston is participating through Zoom. The state is represented by Bill Thompson, Ashley Jennings, Jeff Nye, and Ingrid Beatty. The proceedings, I think they are live streaming through the court's YouTube channel. So please do not attempt to record, film, or transmit during the proceedings. Thank you for that. All right, so we have some motions to address today. And I thought we should first go with the defendant's motion to allow experts and investigators access to view IGG information. If that makes sense, I think also the motion to clarify sealed order for disclosure of IGG and merges into that. So go ahead, Ms. Taylor.
Thank you.
Before she start her expose, in this type of criminal case, this is a death penalty case. If you ask me, I totally understand that the non-dissemination order is there to not share with the community certain details about a case that it could poison a jury. Totally understand that. And if you ask me, we stand by that, because as long as the sole purpose of doing that is protecting the future jury pool, that's good and that's amazing. That's great. But in this particular case, because again, they treat in this case very particular, very different than other case presented in this courthouse by not just this judge, but also by Ann Taylor and Bill Thompson. It's very clear that Ann Taylor and Bill Thompson have seen each other inside of the courtroom, face to face, and in 1v1. The referee is the judge. The judge in the emergency hearing, he made it very clear that they have worked cases against each other before, and it's the first time that he see that he's such a rub of the elbow, and it doesn't seem that goes with the proper flow of what the merits of the record should be. I've been telling ya, due to the lack of evidence on Mr. Kohberger, and again, a lot of people wanna call tinfoil hat and stuff like that, and we need to understand in this one particular case, since the very beginning. Big shout out to Joanne. Thank you for being here, sister. In the very beginning of this case, Joanne, we're doing homework. We're doing homework. I hope, Joanne, if you're ready for homework, we're doing homework. We're going to save all the fun for later. We're going to save all the fun for later. For now, we need to work with the rice and beans, meats and potatoes of this case, because I believe that y'all deserve this. Y'all deserve me putting the work, and then after we put the work, then we have some fun. But for now, big shout out to Robbie, big shout out to Joanne, big shout out to Amy, big shout out to Lori. Thank you for being here in the chat room. Very appreciated. We are about to listen to Ann Taylor and her take on the IGG, which in my personal opinion, that this is just my personal opinion. If you ask me, due to that this case is a death penalty case, we understand that if it's a gag order, we understand that, and we all about it. We don't want a future jury to be exposed to get injected with the wrong information. We totally understand that. But then within court, within the authorities of the court, the lawyer, prosecutor, judge, even the defendant, they have the right to see everything on record. Everything that is going to be used in the future of a trial for a death penalty case, the defendant, the lawyer, prosecution, and the judge should and must have the full amount of information available to prosecute this case. the key and the importance, the key and the importance when you are looking for justice for victims is not just be 100% get all you P's and Q's all I's dotted. So when it's time to prosecute in court, it's just easy breezy slam dunk. You either you have your man or your man's or you don't. It's very simple. It's not complicated at all. You either have him or you don't. It's no middle to that. It's no middle in court. You either you do or you don't. We're talking about this is the life of victims in the past, living, breathing humans that deserve justice. We're talking about living, breathing family members, living and breathing neighbors, living and breathing community, living and breathing defended. We don't have no co-defended, at least yet. And not with these suspects. At least up to this day today, the public information all point at Kohberger not being the guy. Unfortunately, it's things in life that are not fair, and we all have to put up with it. But due to the information available out there at this day today, whatever is being available public record and from the court records, and also the information that we have gathered, all indicates that Kohberger is not the guy. I want to be very clear, very sensitive about this. If you ask me, in my personal opinion, this court, all this court hearing, everything that is going on in court right now is a delay of justice. And if you ask me, in my personal opinion, it's a purposely with purpose done like this for the delay of justice. That's just my opinion. Nobody have to go crazy thinking about we over here with Team Force and all like that, because again, I'm only going by the information that they gave me. I cannot tell you about something that I don't know. I could tell you about something that I know at this day to day. We're gonna be listening to this expose for Ann Taylor about the IGG, and again, and I repeat, my personal opinion on the IGG, on everything that is sealed right now at this day today, it should be available not just to the defense team, the defendant. Of course, prosecution already have those files. The judge said that he have seen the IGG files on their totality. So if Ann Taylor is requesting to see the full in totality of what is on record, far as the IGG, if you ask me, in my personal opinion, they should allow the defense and defense team and defendant to see everything that is sealed far as the IGG goes. It's Bryan Kohberger's life. If you're worrying about the life of the victims, you should worry about the life of Bryan Kohberger. It's just 50-50 cut right through the middle. It's no excuse in court. In court, you either do or you don't. You either have your man or you don't. We need to be very clear about that. Okay? So we're gonna go right in the middle. No Didi. We're gonna be listening to Ann Taylor right now. We're gonna listen to the majority of this expose. We're gonna be talking about it, have our analysis, and then we also gonna watch the emergency hearing, and we're gonna get to the meats and potatoes. It's gonna be homework. Hopefully, y'all ready to talk about it and be about it. Big shout out to all moderators, superstars in the chat. Very appreciated. Thank you for being here. We are live. It's Jrod on point. Thank you for being here. Very, very appreciated. We say, well, Joanne got here. Jaron, do you hear the Ann Taylor says something about meetings? She had asked for a the judge has not responded something about a of them and said well, I'm addressing one now. Yes. And Ann Taylor said, okay, then 7. Yes, I was paying attention to that. Here, this is what's going on. We will get to that in a little bit on the second clip of the emergency hearing, but I'm gonna give you a preview about it. Ann Taylor made it very clear, and this is something that y'all need to understand, that it's not that Ann Taylor is not doing her work. Ann Taylor could only work with what's available for her at the moment. Don't worry. Thank you so much, Joanne. We appreciate you for spending your time with us. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. We will talk about and be about it today about this case. We're gonna really give it to the people what they deserve for us as this case go. Thank you, Joanne. Very appreciate it. And Taylor made it very clear. Okay. And this is something that in court, for a lawyer to not care, and this is a public defender. Again, people be minimizing the authority of a public defender due to that they public defenders. I totally understand that. In this case, Ann Taylor breaks all molds, all casts available far as the public defending goes, due to her experience and due to um, her direct approach in court has given her the unique style of being very, very different than other lawyers out there. Okay. You gotta do your homework on Taylor. You cannot just sit there. You gotta sometimes go back on the merits of other cases. You need to sometimes do a little homework before you sit there and talk about a lawyer that actually have put the work and it being elbow to elbow with the sharks. Sometimes you need to give a lawyer benefit of the doubt until you see that that lawyer hit rock bottom. Why? Not every case get treated with the same tactics. Not every case gets approached with the same intent to justice than other cases are. So I say that to say this. Ann Taylor made it very clear. She made it very clear that due process is a must do. And I repeat, due process is a must do. Not just in all cases, but when we're talking about a death penalty case, everything has to make sense day one. We again, if we all here with the same purpose of give justice to the victims, we all need to understand that you have to make sense since day one. So when you share your information with the community, due to that it makes sense since day one, when you share with the community will understand clearly if you have a slam dunk or not. You could have a slam dunk that you know you do, but other people will think like you don't because they don't understand the meats and potato with the intricacy of a case. Is fair. But in this particular case, in the Bryan Kohberger, you see the intentions of the prosecution to delay, delay, and delay. I give Ann Taylor all the benefit of the doubt because I have seen on records the merits and in the way the prosecution being put in blockages all the way through instead of helping the situation to develop and get to the bottom of it in quick. They only have done one thing and one thing only, and it's procrastinate. Just sit there and wait till last minute. And I wonder what Bill Thompson meant, what he meant when he said this last emergency hearing, when he said that it's a bigger picture, that it's a bigger picture that we need to get to pretty soon. And I understand that that bigger picture that we could get into later on, it might be bad for the prosecution. But he already, without saying it, give a preview. And again, it's coming from the prosecution. And due to in record, everything that it has come out of the prosecution is all bad. When Bill Thompson said that they have a bigger issue to get to later on within what's going on, I could only believe to the 100% that it's bad for prosecution. It's bad because it's nothing right now. Is nothing that it could come out of the prosecution that it could be good and in benefit to the resolution of this case. This is our humble opinion of what this case has been going on right now. Let's get to the meats and potatoes. Let's listen to Ann Taylor, what you got to say, and let's move on with a little bit more substance of this live stream. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Let's go.
Your Honor, reading the state's response, I think the state has no objection to the three named experts having access to the sealed IgG materials or the materials subject to protective order. So I think what we're really talking about is our investigative team for Bryan's case to have access to the IgG materials. And the state has objected to that. They've objected in part because they are not named in our motion. So I want to address that first. Your Honor, they are not named, and I can name them, that's not a problem, but the reason I didn't is based on consistency. These same investigators have had access to the grand jury materials to assist us in the case. They've had access to other things subject to protective order, and they're not named in those. They have access, there's three items subject to other protective order, and that's medical information from hospitals, that's University of Idaho records, and most recently, police procedures. They haven't been required to be named in orders in any of those. And so for consistency, I did the same thing. But we can name them if that is a sticking point.
So in other words, let's be very clear. In other words, Ann Taylor is going by the book. She's going by what is on record right now. She's not going outside of what routine, what consistency is all about within this case and other cases familiar to this case. She's not doing nothing outside of the norm to this case that requires any particular special treatment about. So she requesting her and her team to see the totality of the discovery of the IgG. Is fair. Let's be clear, that's fair. There's no reason for prosecution to request to know the names and all this other stuff that is outside of protocol just for this case. The only reason for that is to have a discrepancy within regular protocols within this case, creating an issue where an issue is not to be found. That produced delay, that produced conversation, that produced motions, that produced more stuff to do, which is unnecessary. it's unnecessary to treat this case any different than other death penalty cases within that state. It's a death penalty case just like any other death penalty case. It should go and run smoothly as possible, not just in this case, but on every case of the death penalty situation. The prosecution is requesting everyone that is going to see the content of this IGG discovery. They want the name and all this other identification, which is okay. It's not a problem. Just give them the information that they require on benefit of the case. It's okay. But we understand that those requirements are not consistent within the way the other cases being treated. So when the prosecution put those roadblocks within for the IGG to get discovered in totality, it creates an unnecessary issue from prosecution, because now you even have to have a hearing like we having right now to talk about this. Is a waste of time when the IGG and everything that is going to be used against Bryan Kohberger should be wide open for the defense and defense team and defend it. Okay? Because we understand we don't want to poison future juries. It don't matter where they're going to be from. No one wants to poison the future jury. That's fair. But in the same time, when it has to do within the prosecution process, the defendant and its team, his team, should be allowed to get a full discovery and totality wide open for them, no Didi. So we could have a conversation. So they could have a conversation on what's going to be the strategy, if any strategy is there to follow. What tactic is going to be used to defend this man, if this man has any type of defense? Because if we don't have no type of defense, if we don't have the resources of truth to defend this man, then we have to go straight to get this man to save his life. Then now we need to go straight to mitigation and skip the whole process of his innocent status, because if through his innocent status, with the development of discovery with the innocent process, the lawyer finds there is no way, no how this man or whoever is could get any type of defense, believe me when I tell you, the lawyer will tell the defendant, his customer, the lawyer will tell him, you're cooked. Me as a lawyer cannot defend you. You don't have no defense. We have to go to mitigation right away to save your life. Because the truth within the discovery should let us know, or let the defendant know, if he's cooked or if he has a chance to fight this case. The longer that you hold on to the discovery, the longer it will take for the defendant and the team of defense team to get ready for the innocence phase of this trial, upcoming trial, if we get there. Okay, so let's listen to what Ann Taylor has to say.
I would note that the members of the FBI that did the analysis are not named in the materials either. Your Honor, the reason why our investigators are important to have access to the IGG materials is because of the kind of case this is and the kind of investigation that we're required to launch in the case. We have to have investigators on a death penalty case, and we have them. These materials or these items in the IGG binder, those are things that we may end up filing motions in court. In order to prepare for those, we rely on our investigators to help us with side tasks, with big tasks, with all of the tasks. We would need to utilize our experts. If our investigators can't have access to the materials, they'll have to be shut out of those meetings with those experts, and they'll have to be shut out of court proceedings that we might launch related to those materials. Your Honor, to meet our constitutional duties, in Bryan's case, his rights to have effective assistance of counsel, to have a full investigation, to have a fair trial, we have to have investigators. Those investigators are on board and have been on board, and they help us understand things that are given to us by the state. They help us find witnesses, they help us find experts, and they're necessary to be part of the conversation of what the IGG materials are and what they mean. This matters in figuring out how Mr. Kohberger ends up on the police radar and subject to these proceedings here. I know we've talked about this before, and I still don't have all of those answers. I believe today, with our experts getting access, we're going to make some headway with that, but we also need our investigators to be part of those discussions as well. Again, Your Honor, if their names appearing in a court order is an issue, that we'll do that. We'll do that. That's inconsistent with the other protective orders, but we'll do that. And they'll be subject to the protective order just like we are, and they'll abide by it just like they've done for the other protected materials they've had access to. And while we're on that line, if the court wants me to talk about the clarification, I can do that.
Let's hear from the state first. I mean, I understand the having investigators. I think what we're talking about, though, is just with the IGG, that we have to be especially careful about, you know, who's going to have the access, what they're going to do with it. I think I agree. It's clear that the state has no objection to the three experts that you named. So I don't think that's a problem. But let me go to, Ms. Jennings.
Before prosecution get the chance to do their expose, in the way the judge said, we are concerned. At this point, I believe that the judge, yes, he should have a level of concern within the secrecy of the gag order, far as the purpose of not poisoning future jury. But at the same time, he cannot say we, as he's so concerned within the details of the gag order, because he should say the prosecution. And because again, this is something that the defense team and Taylor and Bill Thompson been requesting themselves. You know, the prosecution made a advice to the defense team far as the gag order goes. Both teams agree with the gag order, but the judge is giving himself too much authority when we talking about the gag order. Because if the gag order was not influenced by the court, and I repeat, if the gag order was not influenced by the court, in this case, John Judge, if John Judge didn't tell prosecution, this is a most, and then prosecution brought it to the defense team like, hey, I'm advising this. We advising as prosecution to have a non-dissemination order, and this is the reasons why. And I believe it was shared to the defense team, but of course they're gonna keep it in the back pocket, that the court is also concerned with the details of this case. which the court should not have no matter in this conversation. Because again, if it came out, the prosecution team and the defense team went with it, the court should have an unbiased take about this. So the court should not call themselves upon the enforcement of this gag order, because the court need to keep an unbiased take on this. He should say and speak on the importance for the prosecution of this non-dissemination order, and not just for prosecution, but in this case, defense team. Judge have to take the position that this non-dissemination order is very important for both parties. It shouldn't even be important for the court at all. Let's make that clear. The court should not care about this gag order, because the court should care about the transparency of every and any case that it comes out of that courtroom. They should worry about transparency and making sure that everything that it goes in and out that courtroom is transparent. That's what the court should worry about. The court should not worry about, oh, because it sounds to me, comment on the chat room, but it sounds to me that the court and the defense, and let me explain, the court and prosecution are on the tango. If you ask me, in my personal opinion, the court and prosecution have a tango together. They're already married. Within this case, the court and prosecution are married in this case. Because many times we're going to be listening to Judge talk to the defense team like they are their children. Like, you don't know no better, I know better. That's how you talk to your children. You shouldn't be talking to grown adults, lawyers. They have to work their way to be there in front of you to defend the case. You should not be talking to them like they're your children and they don't understand no better about this case like you do. Oh, the judge know what's good for this case. And Ann Taylor made it very clear in this last emergency hearing that is a lot of things that the judge is doing. It's a lot of things that the judge is doing due to the prosecution motions. It's a tactic there. In the way prosecution been sending motions to the judge for the judge immediately take a decision to, they call it last minute motions. But even on the last minute motion, you have to allow the defense to speak or give you your take. If it's a letter, email. Thank you, Amy. It don't matter if it's through email, letter, phone, conference call, Zoom. It don't matter what it is. If prosecution makes a motion like that dismissal motion, how you gonna deny a dismissal motion without hearing? Just explain, make it make sense. How John Judge, Mr. Judge, how can he deny a dismissal motion from the defense team without no hearing and no say so? He said no. For all those content creators out there in the big time YouTuber content creation and true crime, fight that against me. You can't fight that. You can't fight that. How can a judge will putting action, emotion from prosecution or defense? It don't matter if it comes out of prosecution, it doesn't matter if it comes from defense. If it's emotion that it needs a decision to, you have to let both parties speak. You cannot just as a judge see like, oh, I don't like this motion, deny. You can't do that. You can't do that. Yeah, you could, of course. It's wrong 100%. It baffles my mind. The judge baffles wrong. Yes. Just make that make sense. This is what Ann Taylor told the judge. Again, Ann Taylor put herself on top of the fire, and she's willing to get in the fire. She's willing to go against the court and go against the not just prosecution. She's going against the court. She understands what's going on. She had worked with these people before. She had worked with the judge. She has worked with prosecution before. They know each other. Let's make it clear. The court and prosecution is stepping on the defense team, and they are flexing their muscle against the defense team, and they're making the defense team look bad in the eye of the media because they only giving the defense team what they could to work this case. But then we have content creators out there saying that Ann Taylor don't know what she's doing. We have content creator, big major content creators out there saying that they're not quite sure if Ann Taylor know what she's talking about. That just tells me that you're not spending time on this case. Oh, because you got so much to do. Because again, I don't have a lot to do, right? I have a full family to take care of, and not just to take care of myself, but take care of my family, take care of family business, and take care of our YouTube content, and also my cyber sleuthing. That just a whole project by itself. My cyber sleuthing, from where I get my info. That's just by itself. That's a full 8-hour job. Just that by himself, my cyber sleuthing by himself. It's an 8-hour job. What you mean? Full-time parent, full-time content creator in true crime. This is why I told you in the beginning of this year that I wouldn't be able to be going live this much, but I will make sure that the content will be there. That's why we have developed true crime chat rooms. As soon as we get the opportunity to have, moderators that want to take up on that task, and we could have moderators that want to utilize that channel to create content in true crime and have their say so and stuff like that. As soon as we get ready for that, we're gonna put that work. Again, I have 2 moderators in mind to do the true crime chat room, but unfortunately that didn't work with them, and we're just gonna wait until we get the content creators, the upcoming content creators that want to work in that channel. We're gonna work with that. But for now, for the time being, we're gonna focus on this channel, and we're gonna focus on all the channels, and we're gonna give the true crime chat rooms a little opportunity to develop. Thank you for all the subscribers on that channel, but we're gonna give that channel the opportunity to breathe a little until we put the right people in charge so we could handle that channel a little better. But big shout out to Amy Conway. Thank you for being here. He can't, this just denied the right. Yes. In reality, the judge was talking about that he's not violating due process. The prosecution and the judge are in a marriage in this case, because in the second video we are going to watch in a little bit, you could tell that the prosecution and the judge are talking to Ann Taylor and the team like she's their children. Like, you don't know nobody. Like, you know how hard we have worked to keep this gag order in place. And they talk to her like they are fully unaware of what's out there in the media, what's out there with YouTube content creators about this case. They act like they don't look at nothing. And if you ask me, that's a lack of interest to concern the gag order. Because in my personal opinion, if just judge care anything about what's going on with the gag order, he would have asked every single media outlet out there and YouTuber, big or small, including myself. They should have reached out somehow to try to find out from where they getting their information. Because if they so worry about what is out there in the media or what's out there in social media, if they so worry, why they don't reach out to Nancy Grace, so they don't reach out to News Nation, why they don't reach out to these major content creators in true crime, Law and Order and Court TV, JLR, and all these other content creators that they believe that Bryan Kohberger is guilty, and all these, even the ones that they believe that Bryan Kohberger is innocent. You should, as the court, if you are so worried about what the defense is doing with a survey, that it comes straight out of whatever is being talked about on the media, social media and news media outlets. If you so worry about a survey and what's the content of the survey, if the survey is that bad, that's how bad everything is out there in the media. So if you concerned, you shouldn't be concerned with the survey. You should be worried about what the media is putting out there with these confidential sources, saying like, oh, this is it, this is this is that. Like, again, Nancy Grace, why y'all don't want to fix the problem from the root? Go to every single major news media outlet out there and major YouTubers out there, the ones that try to say the Kohberger is innocent and the ones that are saying the Kohberger is guilty. You have, as the court, if you worry that much about a survey, you have to reach out to all media outlets out there and ask them from where you get this information from to see if they are in violation of the gag order of this case. You cannot make a front in court that you're worrying about what the information is out there when you well know the news media outlet and the majority of these big content creators out there, they go by the information that law enforcement share. That's the only information that big news media outlet take in consideration, is the information of the state. So if the information that they utilize for the news media outlets is the information from the state, how the state is going to be worried about what is on the survey, because the state was the source of the information that is out there, good or bad. Bars is back. Just explain that to me. All major news media outlets go by the sources that they get out of the state law enforcement. So every time they say their sources, they're not going to say no one else that is not someone within the meats and potatoes. So even though they say their sources and they keep anonymous, this is their sources from the state. That's the only sources that the news media outlets share. Is only the state, federal, and local law enforcement. That's it. So now that we have a Bill Thompson talking about he tried to concern Bryan Kohberger's rights, it's because he realized that they have put so much shit out there on the media that is making them look. These survey purposely, like Ann Taylor said it very clear. I knew the consequences of this survey because this is how bad it's out there. This is how bad the news media outlets and YouTubers and all platforms are talking about this case. So all this information that is all fucked up, everything has come out of the state. So how the state could sit there with their face like we care about Kohberger's right when you and your sources, your law enforcement sources are the ones sharing that information with news media outlets for them to speak. So you cannot act like in court, like you're not the problem when you are the problem, because then now you're lying in court on the oath. Your oath, you're breaking your oath to lie in court for whatever purposes or agenda is in this case. But then y'all sit there and make this life available, and y'all really think that the people gonna sit there and be like, oh yeah, prosecution got something going on, because we looking at the prosecution like they shady. This is just my honest opinion. We looking at the prosecution like they super shady right now, and they in cahoot with the court. What you want me to tell you? That's how they making it look like. Let's listen to prosecution and see what they have to say.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
That's correct, Your Honor. And Your Honor is familiar and aware of the materials that we're discussing, and you're also aware of the sensitive nature of those materials. The state is really just following the court's lead in your protective order, where you named specifically who on the defense team would be allowed to have access. It follows that if we're going to expand that access, that those individuals need to be specifically named. And it's really going to be the only way the court can have control of any unauthorized dissemination, is to know exactly who was privy to what was enclosed. So at a bare minimum, we need to know who is going to be given over to. Your December 29th sealed order also said that any further dissemination of materials or the information contained within the materials, including to any investigator or experts, must be approved by the court after a showing by the defense as to why such individual needs the information. In the defense's motion, their stated reasoning is, quote, to investigate how and when Mr. Kohberger was identified as a suspect, end quote. State maintains they don't need access to all of that highly sensitive information. To satisfy that purpose that is laid out in the November 28, 2023 letter from the FBI to the state. So we would ask that, one, they be named. If they are granted access, that it be to that letter, and that the balance of the materials be protected. And we would ask that you follow the proposed language in the state's response from February 9th to ensure further protections of the materials.
Thank you, Ms. Williams.
Objection, Your Honor. Objection. This is how we do it. Objection. We're gonna object to that. Because just think about it for a second. Why the defense is not gonna be allowed for everything? The defense should be allowed for everything. But okay, here's the thing. the defense doesn't have to report to prosecution what they are going to do with this information, because again, it's a gag order in place. Prosecution should not worry about whatever is going to be done with this information, because if the defense violates anything on the gag order, is going to be consequences to that. Why you worry about? Why are you worrying about something that you know if they messed up, it's gonna be major consequences against them? If you ask me, in this case, you should literally put the rope. You should give them the rope for them to hang themselves if they're going to, as prosecution. Because again, if you say you got a slam dunk, you shouldn't worry about whatever defense, if any, they're gonna do with this information. Because in reality, the defense doesn't have to report to prosecution about what's gonna be the tactic to follow with that information within the rules and regulations of a non-dissemination order. Again, prosecution should not worry about what the defense is going to do with these materials, for the simple fact that if the defense do anything outside of the non-dissemination order, they will be in trouble. It's going to be consequences coming out of that. The prosecution should allow, if any, discrepancy gonna come out of sharing that information. They should allow the situation to occur, because again, the prosecution don't have nothing to lose, right? So if the prosecution don't have nothing to lose, what are they worrying about? What are they worrying about outside of the norm and the consistency of any other case? Why are they going to worry about who from the defense team is going to have access to these materials? Why are they worrying about that? Like, if you ask me, it's unnecessary. That's just my personal opinion. It's unnecessary. Why you should worry about something that you should not worry about? Because again, if you have not just a slam dunk, but it's some terms, and I repeat, it's some terms that are coming out of the court system that provide protection for the non-dissemination in this court case, prosecution should not worry about what the defense, if any, they're going to do with the information in the IGG. So they should make it available in totality to the defense and the defendants and the team. If it's nothing there to hide, if it's no wrongdoing, it's nothing to worry about. It's nothing but fair to the defendant, and it's fair to the whole due process of this case. Let's continue.
Sarah?
Well, Your Honor, I know what letter Ms. Jennings refers to, and I think our experts should have access to the actual materials. That letter is a summary. It's a police summary. Our duty is to investigate police work. We do that in every case, and with our heightened duties in a death penalty case, our investigators should have access to the entire record. Our investigators understand what a protective order is, and they'll abide by that protective order. Again, if you want them named in any order allowing them access, that's fine. That's just fine with me. It's most important that they have access to all of the materials. The summary contained in the FBI's letter isn't the totality of the materials. It doesn't show some of the particulars about things that were happening on certain dates. And that's what's important to put into a timeline so that we can try to understand how the state did its work in this case.
Well, one of the issues with this IGP is relevance at all. And so the way I'm viewing it is maybe it needs to go on steps, maybe where it's justified with the relevance or the potential of relevance for some of that information, because from the very beginning, the state's position has been it has no bearing on the case. It will not have any bearing on trial. But I allowed the access to what I thought was potentially relevant, and to allow your experts, now allowing your experts to view that information. So let me just kind of move into the other clarification, because I also understand particularly relevance of mitigation. Okay, what your investigators need to cover.
So you see, I need to make it very clear. This is why the biasness right here of the court. This is the biasness of the court. Why the court pushing the narrative that they worrying about the IGG for mitigation. Why the court have to mention mitigation? Why the court is worrying about mitigation? It's like the court pushing the narrative of like, well, if you're worrying about the IGG due to mitigation, this is where Ann Taylor would tell the judge, like, no, this is for the innocence status of Kohberger. Let's make something clear. Not just the news media outlets, but the state was using the IGG from the very beginning. The IGG and the DNA was the topic of discussion for the believers of Kohberger being guilty, not just in the news media outlets, but also within the YouTube true crime community, big and small content creators. Whoever believes that Kohberger is it and he's cooked is due to the IGG information. How can you not make the IGG information available in totality to see if it is what it is? And again, if you give the IGG such an importance, not just in the new media outlets, but in the YouTube true crime community, if you give the IGG that such a importance within this case, why no major news media outlets nor big or small YouTube content creators are talking the same things I'm talking over here? That I've been telling you, the IGG have no relevancy in this case. Due to that, this IGG don't have no relevancy in this case, Ann Taylor is making a statement that the same thing that you said that it was the most important thing in this case, I want to challenge that. Because if in the future this IGG come up as it was used somewhere else for the Kohberger case to be in effect, due to it didn't have no substance to be used in trial, it was supposed to not have no substance to be used in no process to get here. It was not supposed to be used in the media to have Kohberger as a guilty man. And then after people found out that the IGG was not about to be used in trial, why the news media outlets didn't pedal back and be like, well, We thought that the IGG was about to be used, but now we have news that the IGG is irrelevant for the Kohberger case. You don't hear no news media outlet out there telling you that the IGG is irrelevant, because that's one of the things, if not the only thing, that they use to say that Kohberger is cooked. So in this case, we see and we believe that Ann Taylor is requesting the full totality of the IGG just for standard. Because again, she's fully aware what is being shared out there in the community, in the news media outlets, and she's fully aware what's out there. She right now is fighting that narrative with the request of the IGG. She probably by now totally understand that the IGG is not a matter on trial, but the IGG was a matter at some point within the investigation of this case to get where we at today. The IGG was the reason. The IGG was what they have within the probable cause to get this man arrested. Let's make that clear. The IGG was the only reason that was the only thing they have to arrest Bryan Kohberger. And this is the same thing that Ann Taylor is fighting. If you say on record that the reason why you got to arrest Bryan Kohberger was through the IGG work, Judge, how we hear, how you deny a dismissal without a hearing for this case when due process has not occurred to have Kohberger here in this court. Just make that make sense. Just make that make sense for all those big and small content creators out there saying Kohberger is guilty. Just make that make sense. How come that you use the IGG to arrest Bryan Kohberger, but then it's the same IG, you use the IGG to arrest Bryan Kohberger? How can at this day today you can't just share the IGG, which was the reason of Kohberger arrest? That was the only thing that it has substance for law enforcement have Kohberger in custody right now after a year was the IGG. We want to see the IGG on totality. Is fair. Because looking at the IGG, they might have Kohberger's freedom on their hands. Because again, if you're not going to use the IGG in court against Kohberger, how can you use the IGG to arrest him? I'm going to repeat. How can you use the IGG to surround a house, blow up all the windows in the bottom layer, and get to a body named Bryan Kohberger Jr. when Bryan Kohberger Sr. was the 100 of 100 with the DNA that it was on the knife sheath? Can someone make it make sense? If you use the IGG to arrest Bryan Kohberger, you have 100 of 100 on Bryan Kohberger's dad. You didn't even have Kohberger's DNA to compare it with the sheet. You say as law enforcement that the IGG came back 100 of 100 to Bryan Kohberger's dad. How you got to Kohberger Sr., using IGG to arrest him, but you don't want to share the full IGG, which is what arrested Bryan Kohberger. I know I'm taking y'all to school. I totally understand that I'm taking y'all to true crime school. But make that make sense. How can you arrest a Bryan Kohberger through IGG? And it's the same thing you are not going to use against him in the court of law, but it's the same thing that you used to be here in court. How can you not share that? Make that make sense. In totality, how can you not share the same thing that got us here today, the IGG? So if the IGG was the only thing that you used to have Kohberger in custody, is the same thing that you need to share in totality with the defense team. Because obviously the IGG was used not just to arrest him, but also was used for the secret indictment. That was the only that was the only thing that you have to get an arrest, and that was the only thing that you had to get a grand jury to come back with an indictment. You don't want to share the grand jury procedures, and you don't want to share the IGG. I call foul play. I call foul play. And then they blame us for thinking the Kohberger is totally innocent when we see the roadblocks and the way y'all setting up these men for failure. And you want me to see here and not talk about it when I'll be knowing this since day one? This is why I'm here. My name is Jrod on Point. Nice to meet you. I'm the king of true crime. Let's go.
They likely have to have contact with Mr. Kohberger's family. And that we're not, I don't think we're talking about that kind of investigation. I mean, that is your
Judge, we talking about everything and anything. You talking about, oh, we need to safe haven the Kohberger. Listen, dude, why you worrying about that? You should worry about transparency and due process. You should not worry about this as a judge. You should not worry about what the defense is going to use to clear the name of Bryan Kohberger. You should not worry about that. You should not worry about, again, if the defense team has to talk to everyone and anyone that it has to do with the IGG, they have the right to do so. It don't matter who it is. You are in the IGG. I need to talk to you. Bottom line, the judge should not worry about that at all whatsoever. Prosecution should worry about knowing that they don't have a case, but the judge should not and must not worry about whatever about the gag order, because it's not their problem. The problem of the court is transparency. Is not what the defense team is gonna do. Here's the thing: the court and the court and prosecution, and I repeat, the court and prosecution want the defense team and Ann Taylor to show their hand to them to see what they're going to do to defend Kohberger. The defense team don't have to do that. The defense team don't have to tell the court, don't have to tell prosecution what they are going to do with that information. Because again, if they violate the gag order, the court and prosecution should be like this, salivating with their teeth coming out their mouth like, I can't wait until the defense team fuck up the gag order. Do you understand me? Is no reason for them to keep, for the court to keep putting this pressure on Ann Taylor and her team, like, oh, we want to make sure that they got order this and that, because that's not the court's problem. This is how we know the court and judge is being biased to this case. And they are not looking into this case with the eye of unbiased that they should be looking into this case. Is no reason why judge wouldn't want the defense team to look at everything and do what they need to do with the IGG to defend their customer. Because if there's no way to defend him, they shouldn't worry about a dismissal. They already put a motion to dismiss the case, and the judge didn't even look at it. He just denied it without a hearing. By the time they got to the hearing, they found out that it was already denied. We Ann Taylor not saying a word. And it's not the first time that it happened. It's been happening like 3 to 4 times. The prosecution put a motion and the court take it right away, take a decision right upon without the defense team saying the word. It's not the first time. But then the prosecution and the court gets offended when Ann Taylor called foul play in due process. And then the court and Bill Thompson said that they have not violated due process, that the defense team have violated due process. Like, what the fuck?
Your responsibility. It's also your responsibility to dig in where you have to. I mean, I think you're required to do that. So
if you know that, why you even mention it? I'm not trying to be rude, but if you know that, why you even mention it? So you know that already. They have to do what they need to do.
Balancing responsibility is to keep it in control to some degree. So,
but control what? This is the problem. Y'all want too much control of what? Control of what? It's a non-dissemination order. You should not worry about control. Nothing. Because if anything outside of the stipulations of the non-dissemination order, y'all should be on waiting status for something to go wrong, either from prosecution or the defense team, for someone to have consequences about it. Because again, is grown adults handling this case. Why the court has the intentions of babying the defense team? Because that's what they doing. They babying, like babysitting the defense team to make sure that the defense team don't fuck up and go with their narrative and try to cook Kohberger, so the defense team make a mistake or do something. Yeah. Actually, try to play the defense team to see if the defense team's gonna fuck up somewhere. How can the court being involved on anything or worrying about a dissemination order when the court should only worrying about transparency? That's the only thing that the court should worry about. And if it's non-dissemination order that it come from both parties, the court should understand that the court don't have no dog in that fight. So when the court talking about non-dissemination order, he should talk about something that he don't have no do so. That's it. He should talk about that non-dissemination order like he don't have no say so, no do so. It doesn't have nothing to do with the court or him. Why the court is acting like they worrying so much about disseminations in this case? I don't get that. It sounds very, very not right. That's the word. It just doesn't sound right, doesn't feel right.
I guess what I'm asking is that I have some justification for making contact with certain families that may have no bearing whatsoever on the case, unless it's in mitigation or something like that. Now, the DNA issue.
This is what I'm saying. Like that he don't see that, like him as a judge, he's giving an opinion on something that no one cares about what the judge is thinking about. Why the judge gonna give his opinion that this might not help or whatnot within the innocent face of it, and then he's advising, well, unless it's some mitigation. Like, so you saying like unless Kohberger is guilty, why you want to see this IGG if he's like, you know what I'm saying? Like the judge, he's literally pushing a narrative that why you want to look into this IGG if it's not for mitigation. Like the judge, it's like the judge know there is something there on the IGG that is dirty, and they might get away with that if it doesn't get explored, if it doesn't get found what's dirty in the IGG. The judge already know is something there that is dirty, and if it doesn't get exposed and explored, that'll be Kohberger's fate, because then that'll be the only thing that the state have to rely upon for a guilty verdict. Because again, if the IGG is not going to be using the court of law against him, why Kohberger is not free at this day today when the IGG was the only thing that got Kohberger where he's at today? But the IGG is not going to be used in trial. So why he's arrested? Soon as you said that the IGG is not going to be used in the court of law against Bryan Kohberger, he was supposed to be let go the same day. That dismissal was supposed to occur just due to that. How can you deny a dismissal when it's all grounds for dismissal in this case? This is how we take the conclusion the Layton County Court is in cahoot with the prosecution to prosecute in a malicious way Bryan Kohberger, looking forward for a guilty verdict that the court and prosecution are looking forward to do everything and anything to cook this man. That's unfair. Why the court has a dog in this fight?
Issues, especially, I mean, maybe especially in the IGG, it has to have some relevance if there's some context, okay, that connects to the case itself. That's how
you see it, Judge? Okay. The IGG, Judge, I just can't comprehend that this judge either not informed, or he just not able and capable to analyze the merits of this case. We've been giving Judge the benefit of the doubt in this case. But in the way he been talking about this case, sounds like he knows certain things that he's protecting. And the certain things the judge is protecting is Bryan Kohberger's freedom. This is not fair for no one, not the victims, not Bryan Kohberger himself. It's not fair to us, the community, that some of us can't see, can't comprehend the reality of how bad this case is at this day today. It's just bad. It's evil. It seems like the evil empire, in this case, Layton County, everyone is against Kohberger. And everyone is forcing a Kohberger guilty, not just narrative, but also they try to use that in court. And I repeat, is a fact. Is a fact that Kohberger got arrested in Pennsylvania due to the IGG work. I repeat, Bryan Kohberger was arrested in Pennsylvania due to the IGG work. It's the same thing they don't want to share, and it's the same thing they don't want to use on trial. How come that Bryan Kohberger is not free right now? Because if you're not going to use the IGG in court and you not use the IGG in nothing, you was not supposed to use the IGG to arrest Bryan Kohberger neither. But you use the IGG to arrest Bryan Kohberger, have him on the pickle. You use the IGG for a grand jury to have him on the pickle, but then you don't want to share the information, and then you say that you're not going to use the IGG in the trial, but it's the only thing and the only reason of why we even talking about Bryan Kohberger in this case. Bars. I want any content creator, big or small, to fight against that fact. Is a fact. Bryan Kohberger getting arrested due to the IGG product is a fact that Bryan Kohberger was arrested out of the IGG product. So if the IGG product was what it got Bryan Kohberger arrested, when you decide to not use the IGG in the court of law in trial against Bryan Kohberger, you were supposed to let Bryan Kohberger free. Because if you're not going to use that on the court of law, you needed to free Bryan Kohberger right there and then. Because that means that anything else that you have against him is voided. Y'all want the meats and potatoes? Y'all want the Jrod on point? You got them. You wanted work? You wanted homework? You got it. The IGG was the only thing that got Bryan Kohberger arrested. How you don't want to share it? Especially when you're not going to use it. And how come the Bryan Kohberger is not free right away soon as the IGG got excluded from the evidence pool, knowing that the IGG was the only thing that got him arrested? So again, you took the IGG out of the equation. Every other evidence in this case gets voided automatically. They have Bryan Kohberger trapped on legal loopholes that are there to trap a human. Everything that is going on in this Bryan Kohberger case is illegal. Everything. The extradition, everything they have done against Bryan Kohberger is all illegal. Is illegal. Bryan Kohberger is locked up right now in Layton County Jail illegally. He was supposed to be let go immediately. Soon as the IGG was out the picture, Bryan Kohberger needed to be let go. Soon as they decide the IGG is out the way. Because again, the IGG was the reason why he got arrested. Soon as you get the IGG out the way and not be used in the court of law, Bryan Kohberger needed to be free right there and there. Why it didn't happen? As Judge John Judge and what he's doing and what prosecution is doing to keep Kohberger in this pickle. Y'all get the homework.
I'm looking at it. I might be wrong, but
When you said that, you knew you was wrong. You're a judge, right? Right? When you said that, you knew you was wrong.
so you can respond. Okay.
All right, we're talking about a couple of different things. With our request for clarification, I was talking specifically about people that are already known to our team that we may be in contact with. Bryan's direct family, parents, sisters, aunts and uncles.
And
Those
can
are-
I interrupt you just for 1
Sure.
second? That has no relevance to the IGG information that you were given.
Those are people we already knew before.
Okay.
So I want clarification that I can continue to talk to the Kohberger family.
Yes.
I want to make sure I'm not running afoul of court order.
think
and I
that's
wanna be-
absolutely appropriate.
I want to be really clear who I'm.
So, Judge, if that's totally appropriate, why you worrying about the defense team talking to anyone within the Kohberger family tree? Why you worrying about that? Why this is an issue right now in court? This is what it makes us believe that you're wasting your time in court purposely. Why we even having this conversation in court when the judge just said is no problem with that? Why is even an issue then? Because the only people that they need to talk to is the Kohberger family and the Kohberger family tree. Why this is even a topic in court? Why this is even a topic? The judge just said is no problem with that. So why we even talking about it? If it was me representing Kohberger, I'd be like, Judge, all due respect, in the same way you interrupt me, all due respect, let me interrupt you. So why we having an issue when it's a non-issue? What we talking about this when the same things that I'm asking you and requesting you just told me that it's not a problem. Why we are talking about this? Make that make sense. They wasting their time just talking about nothing in court.
Asking for have access to the IGGs. It's not our mitigation investigator. That our mitigation investigator, I think the court heard me talk about going 3 generations back to do her work. That's required under the ABN. I'm not talking about her. She wouldn't have access to this. I'm talking about our criminal investigators dealing with the innocent space for Bryan.
And Ann Taylor didn't listen. Ann Taylor didn't even have to explain that to the judge. The judge was just bragging about him knowing due process. The judge was just bragging about this past court hearing, about it. No one know due process better than him. So if you know that, why you allowing this matter to be a matter right now as we speak? Because you're just talking about things that it just should be common sense. Why we having a conversation about discrepancy with IGG, or who should see, or what is everything that you're talking about? The IGG is nothing but gas. You're wasting your time and your breath talking about something in court that you said it yourself, Judge. Is not an issue. Why are we talking about it in court? How can you even put the idea that the only reason you think that they might have a reason to look into the IGG is because to try to see if Kohberger in the mitigation process, try to see if it's like you making the people believe that you seen something in the IGG that you believe that the defense is like for the judge to give their opinion that the only thing they believe that it be the reason for the defense teams to look at the IGG is for mitigation. So it's like the judge already have on his mind that Kohberger is guilty. This is a problem and no one is talking about this. This is a problem. The judge already thinks and believes that Kohberger is guilty. They need to get John Judge out of the chair. He's literally telling not just us, but telling Ann Taylor in the court his opinion within the IGG that the only reason he see fit of why the defense should see the entirety of the IGG is for mitigation. So that means the judge already believed that Kohberger is guilty due to the IGG. Make that make sense. Just make that make sense. Make that make sense. How can we have a judge in court giving his opinion on why the reason of the defense team looking at the entirety of the IGGs because for mitigation? So you giving us an opinion based on what you believe that Kohberger is guilty, because you advising that the only reason why you probably want to see that is just for mitigation. The John Judge believe that Kohberger is guilty due to the IGG. He's exposed. He's exposed. He's in bed with the prosecution. He's in bed with the University of Idaho. Judge already believed that Bryan Kohberger is guilty due to the IGG. And this is the reason why Ann Taylor want to get to the bottom and break down the IGG to make the judge understand that what you're doing with prosecution to cook this man is not just illegal, but you shouldn't be doing it, Judge. And the judge not getting the message where Ann Taylor is putting the reputation of the judge, the court, and Bill Thompson in question due to due process is not being met. the rights of Bryan Kohberger is being interfered by the diligence of prosecution and the court. That's a problem. Because even if prosecution have more a malicious intent to purposely delay, because they don't have nothing, the court is allowing it. While the court is making everyone believe that the court want to accelerate the procedures, the court is allowing prosecution to put blockages without the court taking the proper decisions about it. While the court is making everyone believe that they being unbiased, while judge in the last hearing, he said like, well, we all of us have some biasness in us. So he admitted in court that he has certain biasness on record. Soon as you said that, you were supposed to get off your share and you couldn't handle this case no longer. Soon as you admitted that everyone, including yourself, judge, has some biasness about this case. Because while you in court and you talking what you talking about this case on merits at this point in court. You admitted you have some biasness when you said that you're talking about this case. Because you on record didn't say, oh, our biasness could be about things outside of court. He didn't clear the record. He let a record polluted. Well, he admitted that he has some biasness about this case.
Those are the people that I think should have access to the same materials under the same protective order. They're not doing the generations back. None of the IGG materials would be used for that part of the mitigation work. She's doing her own thing, her mitigation investigator, looking backwards as she's supposed to at the things she needs to. That's not the IGG materials. So putting aside that investigator and thinking of only our criminal investigators that are going to be dealing with our innocence phase of the case. Those are the investigators that I'd like to have access. They're the investigators that participate in the meeting with our experts. They're the investigators that help us put the timeline together to understand different things that were happening in the case before Bryan's name was ever spoken by anybody. And we're missing that big piece about why was Bryan's name spoken and how.
And I want to make it very, very clear. The timeline that Ann Taylor and her investigators are working on is the same timeline that Olivia Goncalves made available to law enforcement. That's the timeline that this whole case is basing upon. Olivia Goncalves information. This is the same information that Ann Taylor is debunking. They only giving Bryan Kohberger 8 minutes to complete this massacre and get away. They making this case way easy for Ann Taylor. Way easy. Easy. Because this case with Olivia Goncalves' timeline is impossible for Kohberger get any type of guilty come back from the jury. Because there's no way, no how that this massacre occurred in 8 minutes. So when Ann Taylor was talking about she's working on the timeline of this case, Oh, believe me, everyone should be terrified when she said that.
How does that connect to the other pieces that we have? That's what our criminal investigators are going to do. They are not looking at IgG materials, if allowed, to do any of the mitigation work. That's separate and apart. So I want to make sure that that's really clear. Also, when we're talking about whether something is relevant or not, I think that we're thinking of the standard for information to come out in court. That's not what I'm talking about. The court found that the IgG information was material under the discovery rules to the defense and allowed us to have access to some. It's for that same purpose and under that same rule that we're asking the court to allow our investigators to have access to the same materials. Whether or not any of this is something that comes into the court or into trial, that's a question to be answered later. I can see how, I think, this is why I'm really happy to have our experts involved, but I can see a way that there may be a motion practice that happens that relates to this. I'm not there yet.
That's where I'm because if you have these experts, okay, go through this. I've been through all this information, and so if you can go, using your experts, and your experts kind of can tell me and state that you need to investigate particular people, okay, that were involved in this, then we can have a hearing about it. But I'm not.
Why? Why are you gonna delay the process having a hearing about something that why having a hearing about someone that you need to talk to within the IgG? Why? What you hiding, Judge? What the prosecution is hiding? What you hiding? It shouldn't be no problem for the defense team to talk about anything with the innocence process of the investigation. There is no reason why y'all shouldn't allow Bryan Kohberger and the whole full defense team taking a look at the IgG, the same thing that got him arrested. Obviously, Judge, you know something. You know more than what you say you know. And if you ask me, Judge, you know what the prosecution in cahoot with the University of Idaho are doing to try to cook Bryan Kohberger. That's my fair assessment. I'm not exaggerating nothing. It's a fair assessment in a way John Judge is been delaying justice due to the merits within record. The judge is taking part of the decisioning within the fuckery of this case. That's not fair. The judge should be the one that we look up to for unbiased and clarity. The judge, what they're hiding for the judge to be so concerned with the results of the investigation and the innocent face of this IgG. Why the judge worrying about it? The prosecution should worry about that. The judge should not worry about who they're gonna talk to within the IgG, because that's fair for the defense team and the whole due process to defend Bryan Kohberger on a death penalty case. All books, all everything should be exposed to the defense team. It's a gag order, it's a non-dissemination order in place. Watch out worrying about. If the defense team does anything outside of that, that non-dissemination order, is consequences to that. why the judge is worrying about something that he should not worry about. I call foul play. It's unfair to not just Bryan Kohberger, but to everyone to see the disgrace that is going on in Layton County. I'm not holding back. This is pitiful. It's a shame. And Layton County should be embarrassed to take part of this case in the manner and the way and the matter they take in this case. It's an embarrassment. And this is why I believe this is the reason why they doing everything in the way they doing, because at the end of the day, the whole prosecution team and everyone will get exposed and embarrassed. How in the heck we have Kohberger for all these years in jail to let him go anyway? All this hoopily hop that y'all doing, all these hoopity ha that y'all doing to keep these men locked up for the end, y'all have to let him go anyway. And y'all know this. Judge John Judge knows already. What's the only reason why Kohberger is locked up right now, which is the IGG. Soon as John Judge said that the IGG was certified, were not about to be used in the court of law against Kohberger, he was supposed to dismiss and let Kohberger go home. Because the IGG was the only thing that got Kohberger arrested. That's a fact. Y'all want to talk about facts? That's a fact. The only reason why Kohberger got arrested was because the IGG. Soon as the IGG was out the picture, y'all was supposed to let Kohberger go home. Why y'all didn't do that? Why y'all keep playing games in court? Why y'all keep putting all these blockages for a man's freedom so y'all get back to work and do your job for real? If you have any intentions to resolve this matter and actually get justice for the victims, you wanted the rice and beans and meats and potatoes, you have it here with Jrod on point. It's in the only place that you know for a fact you will get what's going on. Straight up. Straight up. Because I'm here for this reason, to give you what other people out there, other content creators are afraid to give you because they don't do no homework. They don't do what they need to do to take tough takes in a public platform like YouTube True Crime. They scared of give you a clear-cut opinion of the bottom line of any case because they don't know. You have to put hours upon hours on a topic. That's why y'all don't see me talking about too much about other cases, because I'm focused 100% to the Kiely Rodni case and to the Idaho 4, to the 100%. I'm gonna have my takes on other cases and whatnot, but to the 100%, when I give a take of any case, is to the 100% of my knowledge of what at that point I know about that case. And it's sad. It's sad. It's sad because I've been locked up for no reason. I had to fight the state for 2.5 years being innocent. I know how it feels being locked up on a 6x9 for no reason for a long time. I know how it feels. I know the dirty tricks the state do to have cases like this on the books. It's sad though. It's sad that our legal system in reality is not there for us. It's there for them. And that's the truth.
Not quite ready to be convinced that without getting this information from the experts, that we're gonna find some pathway, okay, that's going to be helpful to Mr. Kohberger.
If, I mean, this is
I don't
your
know.
courtroom, so if that's what you want to do, we can. I'm here. We waited a while to come to this hearing. I'm asking for it all with a protective order. If we do it the other way, we can do it. It's just everything takes time. And if that's the preference, that's okay. The court knows and would order us to not reach out to any of the people in this material, and we wouldn't do any of that. If we have a motion to file that references any of the content of the materials, that would be filed under seal. These are sealed items. If there was a hearing, I would guess the court would have a chance to look at the filings before granting me a hearing and hear from the state, and that would be sealed. I'm not asking our investigators have access to run out and start interviewing people. I'm asking they have access to not be shut out of conversations, considering what this means and how our client came to the attention of law enforcement, and to plug things into the timeline of us trying to understand how we got from November 13th to December 29th. That's it.
December 29, November 13. Oh, man. Oh, man. From November 13 to December 29. How Kohberger got to the attention of law enforcement. Think about this. When you investigate the inner circle, when you clear the whole inner circle, after you clear the whole inner circle within a week or two, that you cleared the whole inner circle, you took a long time to get to Kohberger. And if you didn't have and didn't got Kohberger out of the inner circle, is no way in hell that you could fabricate and case and get a Kohberger if the Kohberger don't have no connections with the inner circle. Again, and I repeat, it don't matter if Kohberger didn't have nothing and no connections with the victims. But as long as he have any connection with the inner circle, it's a possibility of it. Do you understand me? But again, soon as the inner circle got clear and the inner circle didn't give you Kohberger, is no way in hell that you could fabricate a case against a Kohberger that didn't came out of the inner circle information of investigation. Let's make that clear. Let's start there. Is no way that if the inner circle didn't give you Kohberger, is no way you could fabricate nothing against Kohberger, because nothing that you're gonna throw to that wall is gonna stick, because it's no connection with the inner circle. Just think about this for a second. On every criminal case, for you to get to the killer, you have to take step one. Step one is getting to the immediate circle of the victims. That right there, automatically, if it wasn't them, this inner circle would take you to whoever killed the victims. That's it. That's it. This case is not a random, just someone driving around looking for victims. It's not that. These victims, it was not just targeted, but it was a passionate crime. Someone that don't have no connections with the victims nor the inner circle will have the courage to do what happened to these victims. Let's start there. All these content creators want to talk about the connections or no connections. So if Kohberger is guilty, if Kohberger is innocent, well, let's start there. When you investigate a criminal case, you investigate the whole full inner circle first. Everyone immediate. Everyone and anyone immediate. The killer or killers will come out of that inner circle investigation. Because immediately out of that inner circle investigation, then you have the tides to get to wherever and whoever you need to get to. If the killer don't have no connection with the inner circle nor the victims, you don't have no killer. Because then that means that you're fabricating a case against Kohberger when Kohberger don't have no links to the inner circle at all whatsoever, nor the victims, nor the location. Because then now you have to prove that Kohberger entered the residence where and how. That's the only way and only how you're going to prove that Kohberger killed these victims. And it's proven that Kohberger did a felony burglary. You have to prove that he entered the residence where and how and when. Where, when, and how he entered the residence. You have to confirm Kohberger entering the residence. You have to confirm Bryan Kohberger committing the crime of felony burglary way before you could attach him to a mass massacre. You have to prove a lot way before you say you have your man. Again, and Taylor is investigating the timeline available from authorities, right? This is easy pickings. You're giving Kohberger 8 minutes to commit this massacre. Soon as she could prove that, she's fucking done. Soon as she proved that the Kohberger in the 8-minute window that you're giving Kohberger to commit this crime, he was somewhere the fuck else. That was all they need. That's all she needs. Unfortunately, the prosecution knows that they don't have their man. They know. But they want to push it to the limit to keep a Kohberger locked up when he's no burger. You give this man 8 minutes to commit a massacre. But then now, you not just have 8 minutes to worry about. You have to worry about proving these men entered that residence. How you gonna prove that? I want the prosecution. I want the court. I want law enforcement. I want big and small content creator on YouTube. Prove to me that Kohberger had not just 8 minutes to commit this massacre, but then now you have to prove that he entered this residence. How are you going to prove that? Don't you think that alibi of timeline coming out of Olivia Goncalves actually fuck up the whole game for them? Because again, they were so desperate to get something done, right? They went with whatever they thought would have worked. And they have no idea that when they went with that timeline from Olivia Goncalves, it was the worst mistake they ever made. I told them the right timeline. I did. I told Moscow PD the timeline to follow to get to the killers. I did that. In 2 weeks, I resolved this crime. But they want to go the opposite way, right? So when they decided to go the opposite way, now everything gonna come back full circle to me. Because they know that I know, and they know I told them who they need to look into due to my timeline. Not Olivia Goncalves' timeline, my timeline. We got to the real killers, told him names, told him the reasons, decided to go the opposite way, right? They decided to allow Dylan Mortensen to change the alibi. They allow Dylan Mortensen to change her alibi. That was the first red flag. They allowing Dylan Mortensen to change her alibi. They were supposed to arrest her right there and then. They were supposed to arrest Dylan Mortensen. As soon as she changed her words, they needed to arrest her to get to the bottom of it. Because, okay, the only reason why we didn't arrest you right there and then, it was because you said you didn't hear, you didn't see nothing. Now, as soon as you said that you hear and you see something, we need to put you in handcuffs for you to talk to us and tell us why you're changing the narrative and why you took the decision to change the alibi in the middle of an investigation. Dylan Mortensen needed to be in handcuffs for her to speak to authorities due to that she was in handcuffs and she was being looked at as the suspect of the main suspect of these murderers. She would have spoken snitch on the real killers, and the University of Idaho wouldn't be able to do nothing but to take the hit. Because then now they have Dylan Mortensen locked up, talking to get herself out and pulling everyone and anyone from the University of Idaho up all the way to down to the members of the fraternities and the members of the Greek Council. Oh, believe me, a snowball effect would take place, and believe me, that ball at the end of the hill would be measured. It would be a lot of people locked up. A lot of people locked up. A lot of people locked up. Because it took a lot of people to get to where we at right now. Let's listen.
Not to go out and try to talk to people. I can just see that there's a potential motion to be filed, but that wouldn't be contacting anybody at all. That would be a motion for the court.
That's reassuring. I mean, that's one of the concerns. I mean, pulling a lot of other people into the case that, are completely innocent and don't even have any connection to the situation. So let me go.
But that's the problem. That's the problem, Judge. What make you think that the defense is gonna talk to anyone that don't have nothing to do and no merits within this case? What make you think even that? Why you assuming that the defense is gonna talk to anyone that don't have nothing to do within this case? If they are on the IGG report, They need to be talked to. I don't care who you are. You are in the IGG report. Your name is there. We are going to talk to you. That's bottom line. The defense team should and will talk to whoever is on that IGG report. They should be allowed, and that's just fair. Bryan Outsider, other DNAs in Greek wrote ML. Yes, yes. Here's the problem. The two DNAs that they found within that residence, within the location of the bodies on the third floor, that's the DNAs that belong to the Greek row. That's the DNAs that belong to the Greek community. That's the DNA that they don't want to come out. The DNA of those Greek members, those youngins, those peers, those male or females from fraternities or sororities within the University of Idaho, they actually kill these victims. This is the people that they are protecting. They are protecting the peers of the victims. They are the only ones that could have killed the victims within that environment, within that location. It's only one way, and it's within. They cannot blame this killing on no one from outside, because they don't allow no one from outside to get in. Let's make that clear. Let's start there. Let's start there. The problem is within. The problem is not outside of the University of Idaho. The problem is within. This is the only reason why these cases looking in the ways they looking, because they went outside of what they were supposed to do to get real justice for the victims. They beating around the bush to try to frame someone that it can't be framed. They don't have those skills. Moscow PD already fucked up long time ago making statements. What you mean? You think that what they said in the beginning, they was targeted and passionate, they didn't tell everyone that they didn't know the killer? Moscow PD knew the killer day one. What you mean? Moscow PD knew the killer of the killer and the killers that enabled the killing and helping the killing. Moscow PD and the University of Idaho and the Greek Council knew day one who was the killers. This is the delay within the 7.5 to 8 hours talking between them, the strategy and the tactics and what they were about to put in place to put this out there. They did damage control for 7.5 hours up to 8. They actually have more, longer time. They have 15 to 16 hours, let's say 24 hours to actually have anything out there. By the time the first press release, it was already over 15 to 16 hours. How can we believe anything they talk about when they have such a big discrepancy in the time? Not just the discrepancy on the timeline, but the discrepancy of what they were talking about since day one. That's not good at all. Just getting the feeling that the state and law enforcement are the one that are the problem. That's not a feeling that no one wants to have. First and foremost, nobody wants to even believe or think that the law enforcement will do something like that, because again, everybody gonna think like, oh, but why they gonna do that? Why law enforcement gonna go that low? Well, sometimes people do things like that when it's major massive powers to be behind situations. Like if it's a situation that the killers, let's say in this case, if the killers were high members of not just fraternities, but part of the Greek Council, or youngins from parents that are very influential within that community. If the youngins involved in the killing are their parents are very influential, this is what's going to happen. They're gonna try to protect the youngins. They're gonna try to protect their cattle, even knowing that the cattle is the killers. It's just what it is, guys. Like we can't really cover the sun with our palm of our hands. We just have to admit the truth of how some people in United States do things, especially when you have power, especially when you have money and you have influence. 9 times out of 10, you will have the protection of those around you. You will be protected. Your family, if they do some wrongdoing, they're gonna try to patch it up and find a way to get rid of the situation and help out. But unfortunately, this is the reality of cases like this, that when you have like people in high places that has a lot to lose, 9 times out of 10, when they got the protection of the local powers to be, 9 times out of 10, they're gonna try to get away with murder. 9 times out of 10. Unfortunately, it seems that in the Idaho 4 case, this is what it seems like.
Go back to Jennings. Do you have any response to any of this?
Oh, Your Honor, I'll just reiterate that Ms. Taylor keeps discussing their ability to just understand the timeline. Again, you're very familiar with the materials. Understanding the timeline and how we got from November 13th to December 29th is all laid out in that letter. None of the other materials are going to answer their questions regarding the timeline. So ask that they be given access to that, named investigators to that letter.
Thank you.
So they want, let me see what we got here. Big shout out to Joanne. Judge is biased and he's a judge. A huge problem. Yes, we totally agree with that, Joanne. It seems that Judge is the problem in this situation. It seems like that he's the problem. As you could see, the state just want to show whatever they already showed, the letter, but they don't want to show the work. The letter doesn't show the work. We need to get to the work to make sure that that letter is certified. We can't just act like we will take this letter for face value, and that letter, the paper will hold anything you write up on it. They want to see the work. They want to see how that letter was constituted. What's the basis? What's the reality within this letter? Because again, the IGG was what it got him arrested. So we need to break this down to the atom. That letter, that preview letter give on the IGG, that don't tell you nothing. That'll tell you your results. We want to see, and in this case, the defense team want to see the work of how you got to the conclusions within that letter. Let's continue.
I remember a few hearings in the past that the state, from the very beginning, said there was no no, I don't know how to even, it wasn't, when I asked them in the hearing, that, did you use the IDG, any of the information at the IDG to get the warrant, to get Mr. Kohberger's DNA, that was not part of it. So
Okay, the DNA was not part of you getting the warrant. That's what you say. That's what the prosecution said. But we cannot take that as face value. We cannot take that as just that's what it is. In this case, the defense team want to get to the bottom of it, want to break everything down, because you probably didn't got the IGG results involved with the warrant for an arrest, because y'all didn't use it for the probable cause, right? You didn't have it for the probable cause. To arrest Bryan Kohberger, you got DNA samples from a trash can from the neighbor next door. You send the samples back, and time record, the DNA came back 100 to 100 to Bryan Kohberger's dad. And y'all decided to arrest Bryan Kohberger due to the results of the IGG. You didn't use the results of the IGG for the probable cause, but you used the results of the IGG for an arrest warrant to arrest Bryan Kohberger. So y'all lying. Who is lying at this moment? The judge. The judge. The judge is lying. Because how the judge is going to say, like, well, they said that they didn't use that on a warrant. No, yes, they did. Judge. They did. They didn't use the IGG for probable cause, but for them to arrest Bryan Kohberger in Pennsylvania, they grabbed DNA from a trash can from the neighbor next door, and it came back 100 to 100 to Bryan Kohberger's dad. And then the IGG was what it got Kohberger arrested. How in the heck you don't want to share the same reason why Kohberger is being locked up for a year? The judge know this. The judge know this, and he's playing his part in front of the cameras, talking like he don't know no better. So if you don't know no better, how can you take the takes? How you take the decisions that you take within this case if you don't know no better, if you don't know nothing? If you don't know what's going on, how can you take the decisions you've been taking in court? Obviously, you know something. Obviously, you know something that you don't want to share. If you ask me, you know that Kohberger is not guilty. If you ask me, judge, no, the trickery within the IGG to have Kohberger arrested, but then it's the same thing that you're not going to use in trial. So how in the heck Kohberger still locked up? It's the same thing that he got him locked up. He's not going to be used against him in the court of law. He needed to be free. Just make it make sense. Just make it make sense.
In terms of the time frame, don't know that it's that complicated. Because a lot of what happened in the time frame happened before that. Now, that's up to you to dig into that, obviously. But there was a lot of information in the letter too. Just their sequence of using the IGG at all. So we're gonna have to sort this out, obviously.
So of course the letter is just gonna tell you the results, but they're not gonna tell you how they got to the results. And Taylor wanna get to the bottom of how they got to those results in the letter. Obviously, you're hiding something in the IGG. Obviously. Why you're so particular and so worried about an IGG and not showing the IGG? Oh, we're just gonna show you the letter and that's all about. Nah, dude. You playing with someone's life in the same way you playing with someone's death. You're not just playing with someone's life, you're playing with someone's death. And you think he's funny. Look at that smirk on his face. He think he's funny. In the same way he was laughing when he said, like, whose rights we are violating. Like, you already know Kohberger don't matter. We're just gonna cook him if we can. We're gonna do anything and everything possible to cook Kohberger. That's what you meant when you said that. That's what you meant when you said that. When you said who rights we are violating. That was the worst take you could ever take as a judge. Because the only person in that court that you was violating his rights is Bryan Kohberger and the victims. You violating the victims' rights to get justice playing around with Kohberger when he said Kohberger, no burger. That burger is cold. It's a no burger. You playing with Kohberger in court with all this hooply ha to not get to the bottom and get to justice for these people. And I know some people gonna say, "Oh, but you jumping into the gun." No, I'm not jumping into the gun. I'm telling you exactly what's going on right now as we speak in Layton County and this court case. We have a biased judge. We have, of course, a biased prosecution, a biased legal law enforcement, allegedly protecting the real killers. Come on, man. You only see this type of shit in the fucking movie. And we seeing it happening right now with one of the biggest cases all over the United States right now. Layton County prosecution, they dare to play games with the community, thinking that we are stupid. Thinking that we're not looking at them like, what the fuck you doing? Like, are you really just gonna flex your muscles? Are you really just gonna flex your muscles and act like we don't see the dirt that you're doing? That's how much of a power trip you have, that y'all went psycho. Because this is the only take that I could have about this. Y'all have so much of a power trip about this case that y'all acting like psychos and y'all think that we don't see what y'all doing. This is dangerous. This is dangerous. Having a Layton County showing their ass to everyone and think that it's not consequences to the shit they doing. This is when you see that someone Their ego and their power trip has gotten to the point that it got to dangerous levels of playing with someone's life and playing with someone's death to look forward to justice for their death. Obviously, they don't care about the victims because they playing dirty games to blame someone that they know for a fact they don't have not even a reason to have Bryan Kohberger locked up right now. They know this.
But going back to what I'd like to do is just get some justification for digging in deeper, if necessary. And I'm not sure it's necessary, but I'm going to keep an open mind about that.
Why you giving your opinion as a judge that you don't think is necessary? Why you giving yourself to the court an opinion about it that you believe is not necessary? But if it's any argument to support for them to see the whole full amount of the IGG, they want to see what's the argument to then decide they could allow the whole full extent of the IGG to be shared. The judge is biased. Judge is biased because he shouldn't even give his opinion about if it was or not necessary for the defense team to look at those materials, because by law they should be allowed to see everything about the IGG without jumping over hoops to get to it. Why the judge is trying to enforce from the defense team to give us an argument for you to see the product of it, because the court don't believe that it's a merit for them to see it. Like, what the fuck we doing? What kind of court we have here? This is a fucking joke. This is a fucking joke of court. How in the heck we could have a judge giving their opinion if the defense team should or should not be allowed to see the products of a discovery? The same thing, the same reason why their customer and the represented is locked up for. Just make that make sense. And then we wrong for having a pure opinion of what this judge is doing or what Layton County is doing. How can you make me believe that Kohberger is innocent when I see all the roadblocks to get to the truth from the court, not just from prosecution, from the court? Are you serious? Oh, I have an email. I have an emailing going pretty soon. It's gonna be a wrap after that email. I'm telling you, I've been waiting and I've been waiting. I just want to do things at the right time and the right moment. But y'all have no fucking idea what I'm cooking on. Y'all have no idea what I'm cooking on. And it's about this case. Stay tuned. Click like and subscribe. Share the content. Stay tuned. Y'all don't have no idea what's about to happen with this case. Y'all have no idea.
So for right now, I would say let's just get your experts looking at the IGG stuff and exactly what they can read from that. And we'll go from there. Okay.
So the judge just said he's going to allow her team to see everything. The judge just said that he's going to allow her team to see everything on the IGG. He said that he's going to allow Ann Taylor team to see the whole totality of the IGG, and let's take it from there.
Now, with regard to your clarification, yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that your investigators can't contact people that they've already contacted without relying on the IGT information.
Yeah, but no, because you don't have no problem with reaching out to the people that already has reached out, as far as the IGG goes. But if it's someone else that they want to reach out, that they haven't reached out yet, which is part of the family, the judge already put that there, that put that bug. So I don't have no problem with y'all talking with whoever y'all have talked to already. But if it's someone else outside of that, I need to know why and who. This is a problem. The judge sticking his nose and stuff that he's not supposed by law to get his nose sticking into. This is foul play. Because yeah, you cool. You see, you keep putting blockages. Yeah, I don't care. You're gonna see the full amount of the IGG, but and I don't have no problem with y'all talking to the people y'all already have talked to. But then if it's anyone new that they haven't talked to, they need to know who and the reason why for it. So if they don't think it's a reason for the defense to talk to them, they're just gonna say no. That should be illegal. The judge should not put a parameter of to who they could talk to or not, because as long as you are on the IGG, you are fair game. It's no reason why the defense team has to share with the court or the prosecution their hand. This is what they do, and the court is in cahoot with the prosecution to know the defense hands. This is illegal, this is crooked, and this is a problem. The FBI should be on top of this. The Superior Court in Idaho should be on top of this. They should be paying attention to what is being going on with this court case in the lower court, because this is the very lower court. They want to act like this court matters. No, this is a district court. Okay? This is a district court. This is the barrel, the bottom of the barrel in court system. This is the bottom of the barrel where is the residue of the court legal system. Layton County is a court, is a district court where all the fuck ups and all the mistakes and all the fuckery happen. District court. Do you understand me? The district court is the bottom of the barrel. Superior court, knowing that and knowing on record all the deficiencies that the district have, they should be paying attention on every live stream, every time the judge speak. The Superior Court judges should be listening to the same things we are listening into. Because if they were paying attention in the same way we are paying attention, the Superior Court would have already took over this case. But then the Superior Court let the case run in the district. I believe the Superior Court need more facts, need more proof of foul play from the Layton County District Court. If you ask me, right now, Superior Court has what it takes on record to take over this matter, to take decisions about. But let's say allegedly, Superior Court either allowing the fuckery or they just waiting for district court to make a bigger mistake. Or let's say in this case, Judge, let him make a mistake on record more or in addition of what he already have to then Superior Court taken upon consideration. Because right now, as we speak, they don't see no matter or no issue for district court take place and do the procedures right now as we speak. But if you ask me, in my personal opinion, is merits for the Superior Court start taking decisions about this case as we speak today. If Superior Court watch the footage and hear the demeanor and the decisions the judge has worked upon, Superior Court has the not just the right, but has the fundament, has the basis, and it has the merit to take over this case as we speak right now, due to Layton County is totally not just corrupt, but totally biased against Bryan Kohberger, while they acting like they trying to protect his rights, which is bullshit. Because if they were trying to protect his rights, they wouldn't work in the way they're working right now. If they protecting the victims' rights, they wouldn't be talking about what they're talking about right now. They wouldn't be taking the decisions that they just been taken in court. Why the judge has not give a timeline, have give the prosecution a deadline to get the whole the whole discovery. Why Judge has not give prosecution a deadline for them to come with the discovery in totality. And if you don't have that discovery for my time deadline, this man is walking. The judge have not do that. He's allowing the prosecution to keep up rolling around with the fuckery of the discovery, and the judge don't want nothing to do about it. Because if he wanted justice for all, he would already put a deadline for prosecution to come up with that discovery ASAP. We need to move along. Especially when the judge already caught prosecution lying, saying that they were supposed to get something that they never got. Especially talking about the cast. They still don't have the cast. Are you serious? Why the judge don't put a stop to that? Why the judge, like he act like he's an inexperienced judge. He act like this judge don't have no experience and don't have no will to get this matter resolved at all whatsoever. And this is crazy. And this is dangerous to see this from a court system anywhere in the United States of America. This is a shame.
That work for now.
Yes, Your Honor. Our mitigation expert has done her own family tree based on her work, and she has nothing to do with the IGG material. She's not an expert that would have access to that. She's not named. So she needs to keep doing what she's doing as far as her work goes. And I think the proper clarification is that the IGG materials will not be used to develop any investigative leads.
I think that's fair. And what Ms. Jennings proposed in language in their response to your motion, is that something that you would object to at this point? I'm sure you probably read that language.
I did read it. It's a little bit less straightforward, but I think it covers it. It allows me to continue to speak to the people I'm speaking to and that I need to speak to that are on my list.
Okay. Anything else about that?
No.
These issues. Okay. Ms. Jennings?
No.
Okay, great. Okay, the next question I had is, I know that,
But why you skipping to the next without taking a decision? I mean, you phrase it, you phrase it, and you say over the top, like, yeah, you don't have no problem with that, but didn't make a decision. You want to move on to the next topic without making a decision on record. What the fuck you doing? You want to skip whatever you was talking about, not take a decision about that right now, which is your time to take that fucking decision right now, but you want to move on to the next topic. What the fuck? Where's the decision?
Mr. Kohberger filed for permissive appeal to the Supreme Court. And I just wondered what you know about that, because I have heard nothing about that. I know it was filed.
I know the states filed their objection, and that's the last that I recall seeing about it.
Yes. So at this point, we don't know if the Supreme Court is going to take it. Okay, we don't know. You know anything else, Mr. Thompson?
Not other than the state's response was filed by the appellate division of the Attorney General's office. And I think we're just waiting to hear from the Supreme Court at this point.
Correct, Your Honor. We're just waiting to hear from the Supreme Court. I can tell you there's no deadline in the rule for them. They didn't include a deadline for themselves. And in my experience, it can take anywhere from a couple weeks to a month or so. So at this point, we're just waiting to hear.
Which we already know the Superior Court didn't took up on this matter.
So I don't know the answer to this. If it's filed, does that pause what we need to do here, or do we just pause?
Guys, if we cannot get through everything today, I promise I come back tomorrow, which will be Monday, 12 a.m. I promise to come back tomorrow and finish whatever we got going on today. We are already in 3 hours, 20 minutes. We are about to listen whatever, a few more minutes of it, and we're going to call it a day, and we're going to come back tomorrow.
Is it only when they pick it up?
My read of the rules, Your Honor, is the latter, that we continue as we are unless and until they decide to take it, and then they would decide at that point what exactly is paused and not paused.
Okay, thank you. Anything else about that, Ms. Taylor?
No, thank you, Chair.
Mr. Thompson?
No, sir.
All right, I think we're now to schedule. Starting with, there was a request on change of venue, maybe late April, you were saying.
So before they talking about the change of venue, due to this right here, what we're about to listen to right now, it has to do with what happened on the emergency hearing. We're gonna leave it here for tonight. I know you expected me to get it more in depth, but at least about this topic, we're gonna leave it here to combine it with tomorrow. And this is a promise. I will come back tomorrow. Again, Monday, 12 a.m. ish. I will come back to finish this and finish the second one. It's gonna be probably 3 live streams. It's gonna be this one, the upcoming one, and the final one. I think it's gonna be 3 live streams that we are just gonna talk about this. We're gonna talk about the meats and potatoes about this case, and then probably on the very, very last live stream about this, we're gonna use it to get into some fun and get into the fuckery with what's going on with the other content creators and stuff like that, which is not important if you ask me. For me, in my personal opinion, it's more important for us to break down what's going on with these cases than They go to the fuckery of the true crime drama. That could wait. Just so y'all know, we taking wins. We undefeated. Those true crime content creators, they could wait. They could wait for us to acknowledge whatever is going on with them. They could wait. Because again, we here for the meats and potatoes of these criminal cases, the Kiely Rodni case and the Bryan Kohberger case. That's our priority. Everything else is fillers. All that other true crime drama and stuff like that, that could wait. But I'm very happy with the opportunity to not just spend time with y'all. Thank you, Amy Conway. Thank you, Joanne and Laurie. I appreciate y'all for coming by and show love in the chat room. We're gonna leave it for here. We're gonna leave it here for tonight. I want to make sure that I come back tomorrow, that I have some more energy for tomorrow, that I also have, my mind clear to keep giving you every detail of what they've been showing to us. Hopefully today you got some meats and potatoes about this hearing. We're gonna leave it here for tonight. We're gonna take part of this tomorrow. We're gonna finish it tomorrow, and we're gonna have more fun and more conversations about true crime. And if we got time, then we'll get to the funds with these other content creators. They've been exposing themselves. We don't even have to do nothing. We just sit here and watch the show. But thank you so much for everyone to be here. Thank you, Amy Conway. Thank you for the 18 likes. I appreciate everyone that was in the chat room. I appreciate everyone watching, and for everyone that is gonna watch it on replay. Thank you so much. We're gonna be here. We're gonna get back at it tomorrow. That's a promise. So thank you so much. As always, is your favorite brother, your mother's favorite son, the black sheep. I believe in you. Okay, let me get close to you. I believe in you. Okay. Just believe in yourself. Because I believe in you. If I did it, you could do it too. I ain't nothing special. I believe that you're gonna take the best decisions for you and for everyone around you. As always, chair on point. I'm gonna see you tomorrow. So be here. Because we're gonna talk about true crime. We're gonna talk about the Idaho 4. And it's getting spicy. I think that email is going out Monday. So stay tuned. We're gonna talk about the eclipse and everything. So big shout out to everyone that was here. Thank you so much for Amy Conway. Thank you so much. Our main superstar moderator, Amy Conway. Thank you for being here as well as Joanne. And big shout out to Laurie. She was here in the chat room today. As always, man. Love ya. Thank you for being here. This is your brother, Jrod Point. See you tomorrow. Love ya. You know how we do.